Imagine for a second that you're walking through a bazaar in Algiers. It's chaotic, noisy, the air is thick with the smell of roasting spices and dust.
Right, the sun is just beating down on you.
Exactly. You're just a tourist looking for a souvenir, something to take home. But then you stop at this little table and something catches your eye.
Yeah.
It's not shiny. It's this old leather-bound book.
And it's seen better days. A lot better. Cracked, weather-beaten, looks like it's been baked in the Sahara for 50 years.
You buy it, maybe just because of how ruined it looks, but later that night, you're in your hotel room, you open it up, and as you read those first few pages, the hair on your arms just starts to stand up.
Because you realize you're not holding a souvenir. You're holding the final testament of a dead man.
And that's exactly where we're starting our deep dive today. We're opening the pages of the Liam Wentworth journal.
This is an artifact dated June and July of 1952. And it details an expedition that just went so wrong, it basically descends into a complete nightmare.
It's a first-hand account of 9 people walking into the dark and, never walking out again.
And it starts like a classic adventure story, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Sand, treasure, a lost fort.
It really does. But it ends somewhere else entirely, in absolute psychological horror. We're going to retrace their steps, moment by terrifying moment, and try to figure out what happened to them.
I think the key word for this whole thing is warning. Wentworth wasn't writing this for a book deal. By the end, he was scribbling these words to stop anyone, anywhere, from ever following his footprints.
So let's open the cover.
Let's do it.
Okay, so it's June 23rd, 1952. Our narrator is Liam Wentworth. He's a veteran British adventurer, the kind of guy who thinks he's unshakable. He gets a call from a man named Tally.
And Tally is this wealthy American business magnate. He has a proposition that sounds almost too good to be true. The classic golden ticket.
He has a map to a lost fortress built deep in a mountain range in the desert.
And the legend, which Tally is totally obsessed with, is that a French Foreign Legion unit found this place back in the 1930s. And inside, they found a staggering amount of Ottoman Empire treasure.
We're talking gold, diamonds, the works, a king's ransom, but then the entire Legion unit just vanished.
So Tally puts together this team, and it's like he's casting an action movie. You've got Moretti, this capable Italian leader, Blake, the brilliant archaeologist, Corinne, a battle-scarred medic.
Plus the muscle, these 2 guys, Savin and Roar, and 2 local guides, Samir and a younger man named Tarek.
It's a solid team, on paper. But you get the first omen, the first crack in the whole thing, before they even leave the city, and it comes from the young guide, Tarek.
Right. Tarek is terrified, and not just, I'm a little nervous, terrified. He's shaking. He tells them his ancestors warned him about this specific mountain range.
He calls it a cursed place.
Oh.
Says his grandfather told him the mountain itself is hungry.
And what does Tally, the rich American, do?
Oh, he just dismisses it, calls it superstitious nonsense. Then he shows them he's packed pistols and a shotgun, assuming any threat is something you could just shoot.
It's that classic hubris, isn't it? Greed makes you deaf to local warnings.
Absolutely. So they ignore the kid and drive off into the desert. A few days later, June 27th, they see it. The fort is real. It's this massive Ottoman structure, 3 huge turrets sitting high up in the rocks.
It's impenetrable. But there are these steps carved right into the mountain, like an invitation. And at the top of the steps, that's where they find the first thing that's just wrong.
An old World War I tank. A French FT-17, half buried in the sand.
But the detail Wentworth notes, the thing he can't shake is the turret. It's not pointing out at the desert like it's defending the fort.
No, it's facing away from the fort.
The crew was trying to escape whatever was inside the walls.
That should have been it, right? Turn around, go home. But they don't. They go inside. And it's eerie. There's this courtyard with a fountain that's still pumping fresh, clean water.
A miracle in the desert, an infinite supply. So they think they've hit the jackpot and set up camp.
But it's too perfect. It's the cheese in the mousetrap. It's designed to keep you there.
Because when they explore the living quarters, it's a wreck. Smashed furniture, but very specifically, the radio equipment has been deliberately destroyed. Someone made sure nobody could call for help.
And then they go into the arsenal, into the jail. This is the part that really gets under your skin.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
They find a desiccated corpse, a French Foreign Legion uniform, inside a locked cell.
And the door was locked from the inside.
The keys were on the floor right next to the body.
Just think about that for a second. That man chose to lock himself in a stone box and starve to death rather than face what was outside that cell door.
He saw slow, agonizing thirst as a mercy.
And our narrator, Liam, he starts to feel it. This creeping paranoia, the feeling of being watched from the shadows, from the rafters.
You know that feeling. The hair on the back of your neck stands up. You know you're being hunted, even if you can't see the eyes. And then on July 1st, the trap springs.
They wake up to this massive crash. The whole mountain shakes. A landslide has completely destroyed the stairs they climbed up.
They're trapped, stranded on a plateau hundreds of feet above the desert floor. No way down.
So they send the scouts, Samir and Roar, the guide and the muscle. They head out at twilight to find a new path down.
And they just never come back.
The next day, Liam, Blake, and Corinne go looking for them. They find their footprints. And this is where the story, for me, just stops being an adventure.
It becomes a full-blown nightmare.
The tracks tell this bizarre story. They're walking normally, then suddenly the prints are all over the place, erratic like they were dancing or spinning, and there are spent bullet casings everywhere.
They were firing wildly at what nobody knows, but the really terrifying part.
The tracks just end. They don't go off a cliff, they just stop, mid-stride.
And then Blake sees it. A single smear of blood. And it's not going down the cliff. It's going up the sheer rock face.
Vertically. Straight up the wall.
Something didn't kill them on the ground. Something dragged them into the mountains. Something that doesn't care about gravity.
That breaks them. You can just imagine the silence, standing there looking at that. They race back to the fort, barricade the doors, and Tarek, the guide who warned them...
He goes catatonic, hides in a closet, just rocking back and forth, muttering about the ones who hunt in the mountains.
He knew the landslide wasn't an accident, and now the psychological warfare begins.
July 4th. In the dead of night, they hear screaming.
But it's not just any screaming, it's the voices of Samir and Roar. But Liam writes that it sounds wrong. The pitch rises and falls too perfectly. It sounds like men being flayed alive, but it also sounds rehearsed.
It's mimicry. Moretti, the leader, he realizes it's a trap. He has to physically stop Tally from running outside.
He knows the creatures are out there, using their friends' voices to lure them out into the dark.
It proves they're intelligent, they understand empathy, and they're using it as a weapon against them.
Then Blake, the archaeologist, she actually manages to fix the radio. A moment of hope.
A very brief moment. Because when they transmit, they don't get static or a reply. They hear whispering in some non-human language. And then woven into it.
Their own friends' screams coming back through the speakers.
And when they tap out an SOS in Morse code, they get an immediate response. 2 words.
No saving.
No saving.
Yeah.
I mean, how chilling is that? It's not help is coming. It's a statement of fact. You are beyond help.
And then things get worse. Savin, the giant of the group, vanishes from inside the locked, barricaded room.
No sound. No struggle. He's just gone. The enemy isn't outside anywhere. It's already in.
The morale just completely collapses, and Tarek, the young guide, he makes a choice. They find him missing on July 7th. They follow his footprints to the cliff edge.
He jumped. He left a message scrawled on the wall. Death is better than what fate awaits those who are taken.
He chose suicide over being captured. That tells you everything you need to know.
He knew death was an escape.
And then on July 8th, Liam finally sees one of them. He's on watch, shining his torch onto the roof of the armory. And he sees a figure crouched there.
And the description is just. It's emaciated, sunken eyes, razor-sharp teeth. But the real horror isn't the monster itself. It's what the monster is wearing.
A tattered French Foreign Legion uniform.
And another one nearby is wearing Roar's fresh clothes.
Oh, God, that's the moment?
That's the moment it all clicks into place. The Lost Legion wasn't killed, they returned.
The creatures aren't eating them.
They're transforming them. That's why they're dragged up the mountain alive. That's why Tarek jumped. You don't just die, you become one of the things hunting your friends.
Which means Samir and Roar are out there now, in the dark, part of the pack.
And that realization just shatters what's left of the team's sanity. The final descent begins. Corinne, the medic, just snaps.
He shoots Tally, the man whose greed brought them all there, right in the face with the flare gun.
A brutal, horrific end. And then Corin doesn't run to escape. He runs towards the treasure room screaming, "It's mine! It's all mine!"
Liam, Moretti, and Blake chase him, and they find it. The treasure room is real. Piles of gold, diamonds. It was all true.
But it's meaningless. It was always just the bait. Corin is already gone. And then the ambush hits.
A creature drops from a window and just grabs Moretti, and Liam describes how this thing climbs straight up the sheer rock wall, carrying a grown man like he was nothing.
Like a ragdoll. Liam and Blake are firing shotguns, holding them off, but there are too many. They retreat to the open courtyard, the water garden.
But the sun is setting, and the creatures pull back, not because they're beaten, but because they know the darkness is their advantage. They're just waiting.
Which brings us to the final entry. The evening of July 9th. Only Liam and Blake are left.
This part it's just heavy. Liam writes that he knows they can't survive the night. He looks over at Blake. She smiles at him, asks him what they should do now.
And he makes a choice. He calls it an act of supreme mercy.
He waits for her to look away at the sunset, and he shoots her.
He kills her.
To save her.
Save her soul from becoming one of those things. In that hell, he saw murder as the only act of love he had left.
He then writes his final warning. Do not attempt to climb. The fort is their own. He says he's going to follow Tarek's path. He's going to the cliff.
And the journal just ends.
And you're just left with silence. I mean, we read these things and usually we can analyze them, but this feels like reading a suicide note from a ghost.
It leaves you with this awful realization. The trap worked perfectly. The treasure was real. The water was real. It was all designed to keep people alive just long enough to be harvested.
Like a human pitcher plant. The intelligence of it all is what terrifies me. Smashing the radio, the no-saving message.
And you have to consider the moral question of Liam's final act. In any other story, he's the villain. But here, was it murder or was it salvation? Would you do the same?
I don't even want to think about it. But there is one final thing that I can't get out of my head. We started this with the journal being found in a bazaar.
Right, that's the question that lingers, isn't it?
Liam jumped. Tarek jumped. The others were taken. So, who brought the journal down from the mountain?
That is the real nightmare fuel. Did some later traveler find his body? Or did one of them bring it down? Did they plant it in the market?
But why? Why would they do that?
To sell the map again. To start the rumors again. To bring fresh meat to the mountain.
That is a terrifying thought to end on. So if you're ever in Algiers and you see a beat-up leather journal...
maybe just leave it on the table. Some stories are better left unread.
That's it for this deep dive into the Liam Wentworth journal. Thanks for listening. And try to sleep well tonight.
If you can.